It controls much of the world's food. It supplies inputs for McDonald's, Coca-Cola, and even governments around the world. And even giants like Nestlé and Unilever use its products as raw material for their own products. And all this, in a way that is still little known, even after more than 100 years of history. That's Cargill. A true food giant. And which for many is the largest privately held company in the United States. And in this video, you will learn in detail how big this company is, or at least what is known about it, and see how it is responsible for much of the food that reaches your table. Considered the largest food company in the world, Cargill has been responsible for a true revolution in the global food market, and today, it is considerably more powerful than its main competitors like ADM and Nestlé, for example. Just to give you an idea, its turnover is more than 50% higher than its main competitors, and if it depends on the worrying news that surrounds the food supply chain around the world, these numbers will be even higher in the coming years. It all began in 1885, in the Iowa town of Conover. There, William Wallace Cargill opened a small warehouse to buy and sell grain, which shortly afterwards had two brothers as partners. Thus W.W.CARGILL and Brothers. Although they neither plant nor harvest any grain, the brothers have specialized in buying large quantities at low prices and reselling them in smaller portions at a big profit. Among them is corn, which was a very versatile and abundant ingredient, and which has become one of the company's flagships. And that today, besides being sold as an input and food, it is also transformed into ethanol by a division of the company. In 1870, they moved to the city of Albert Lea, in the state of Minnesota, a strategic move aimed at taking advantage of the heyday of one of the activities that shaped the United States and allowed the country to become a great economic power. The railroads. With the expansion of the railroad network, commerce in general was extremely favored. Especially for those involved who knew how to buy and sell large quantities, since with the railroads it was possible to trade with several states in the country and even with neighboring nations. And all this, with a transportation cost that became cheaper and cheaper as private railroads multiplied. But besides taking advantage of the national expansion, Cargill itself also began to order and build its own railroads to further increase its structure and market dominance. And while the U.S. saw the consolidation of the first giants like Carnegie, Vanderbilt, and Rockefeller, the Cargill brothers were also moving to create their own empire. Only a decade after moving in, they already had more than 100 warehouses spread over 3 states of the Federation. And besides grain, they had already expanded into other markets such as flour, feed, firewood, charcoal, and seeds. So basically anything that could be stored for a reasonable period of time was an object of interest for the family. And more than this, anything that could be sold on a large scale and with a good profit margin was something to consider. With these guidelines, they specialized in serving the American food market almost end-to-end. For example, they sold the harvested grain, seeds, charcoal and firewood. And the most impressive thing is that although they control all this process, they have not verticalized the business. Since until today they don't plant or produce the food, and only remain responsible for intermediating the sale of the food by buying and selling huge quantities. An extreme focus that allowed them to literally be the best in the world at what they do. And a philosophy that has generated enormous success for the business, which beyond the first generation, has continued with the same foundations for the following generations. And in addition to the sons of the original brothers, William Cargill's brother-in-law, John MacMillan, also joined the business. This turned Cargill into a two-family company, Cargill and MacMillan, who control the company to this day, and who make the Cargill-MacMillan clan the fourth wealthiest family in America. In the following century, the company was very well positioned when the First World War broke out, which catapulted food prices across the globe and caused the company to further increase its profit and structure. So much so that in addition to high profits, Cargill bought some local competitors, and managed to consolidate offices in different parts of the Americas and Europe. In addition, the company has established itself as a major partner of the U.S. government, entering into contracts with the local armed forces for supplies during World War II. And besides new contracts with both public and private entities, Cargill has also diversified even more by including eggs, meat, and hybrid seeds in its portfolio, so that besides products in their original state, the company has also started to bet on products improved through the most modern biotechnology techniques. In addition, since 1970, the company has also invested in the purchase and sale of Brazilian orange juice, which began to be sold in the United States in a concentrated version. And besides the ones already mentioned, the company also started operating in the cotton, cocoa, salt, wool, molasses, peanuts, and even rubber, oil, and fertilizer markets. This is just to name a few of its activities. Activities that are carried out both by the company itself and by other companies that have been bought or created, such as Mosaic, one of the world's largest fertilizer companies, which was created by the giant in 2004. Far beyond products, the giant has also come to control the market from a financial aspect. Since in addition to buying and selling inputs, they also provide financing and credit lines to customers and partners in the agricultural industry all over the world. This gives them indirectly an end-to-end role in the global industry. Currently, besides warehouses, factories, and distribution centers, the company also has its own fleet of ships and a complete transportation network in the most different modes. In all, 130 countries are officially attended to. In addition, it is responsible for supplying for McDonald's demand for oils and for ingredients for Coca-Cola's soft drinks, just to name a few of its partnerships. It is estimated that more than 150,000 people work directly for the giant, and in 2021, it reported revenues of an incredible $165 billion. And meanwhile, the company continues with a tone of mystery under its belt. Since its founding, the giant has been known for making little noise but taking big action. And as it has since kept its capital closed and family control, the business remains quite discreet, providing little information to the market. Because of this, the company is considered by many to be secret. And the mystery fuels even some illusions about its activity. Yet still, Cargill has established itself as one of the largest companies on the planet and literally a food giant, one that promises to grow even larger in the coming years. And because of all its success, the Cargill story is another success story worth telling on our channel.